today's, workshop is about elixirs. And so with the elixir, what we're going to do is we'll create a healing elixir and we're going to use color magic and we're going to use elemental magic, which is why we're using water. And it's going to be fueled with our intentions. So we're layering the elixir. Okay. So the elixir, what is an elixir? Elixirs basically it's a liquid that you infuse with your intent, right? So you can, and it's ingestible. So we're going to make a simple one. There's two different types. There's an elixir that's a simple one that we're using today that is based on water that you can consume immediately. And you should consume it within 24 to 48 hours unless you refrigerate it, which makes it last longer. And then there's the elixir that is alcohol based. People usually use vodka or brandy. And when you do that, it's a more involved process. But when you do that, your elixir will literally last for years, just like your alcohol. You just need to take care of it, keep it in a dark and cool, dry place, and it will last for a really long time. We're not doing that because there's safety involved in that too. You infuse it with herbs and all kinds of different things. And I would tell you, you can use the same process that we're using here, but you would really absolutely need to do your homework on what you're infusing, right? So if I do that for someone, you're signing something and I'm telling you exactly what's in it and the exact process that I use to create it. Okay, so there's that as far as what an elixir is. Now, I did mention that we are using color magic. So in the workbook there's a color magic chart. Colors, of course, carry their own frequencies. So, think of painting your house. You're not going to paint your room red. Do you know how much you will never sleep in that room and you will always be on the go? Because red, it's the color of blood. It can be aggression, it can be anger, but not necessarily. Red is physical things, it's activity. A lot of times it's fighting and different things like that. It's strength, it's passion. You will never sleep in a red room. So just think about the different things that you use. That's the frequency of that color. So blues and greens. I asked you guys if you had a stone that's blue or green or even clear, because blue and green is more associated with healing. Blue is more associated with like emotional healing, cleansing. That's with where the water comes in. Green is more associated with body healing. So like when we do pranic healing or Reiki, if you've got into psychic surgery or even aura clearing, green is what you use that infuses the muscles with strength. It's what you use like maybe when you're sewing together wounds, different things like that that incorporates into the body. Right, so that's why we're using those colors. And clear is everything. Clear amplifies everything that you put in it. And that's why people love quartz so much. White can be that way too. Black is the same way in a certain extent. People always associate it with protection, but black is also protection, but it's everything. Think of black as the cradle of procreation. You think black was the first thing that was in the womb, right? Like black is a possibility of all things. But I'm going beyond what we're saying. So anyway, there's a chart there that associates different things. Yellow, confidence, that's the element of air. Orange is kind of in between the yellow and the red. So all the things that are in there, it's like a dynamic color. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You guys can see that. Multicolor is all the colors in between that you see. So if you don't have a blue or green or different type of green or different type of blue, like there's so many offshoots of that, but just know that multicolored stones carry the frequency of everything that's in there. Does anybody have any questions? because I'm just talking. I forgot. For those who are new, I can do this all the time. I get geeked out. Does anybody have any questions before we keep going forward to the elixir part and
Well,
getting to?
I scrolled down to the bottom of your document and there are crystals that are unsafe for water use, and I had never heard this stuff. So there's quite a bit
So
in there.
yeah, so when you think about crystals, like for example, hematite, kind of metalish, right? You don't want
Hmm.
to put it in water, not because it's toxic, but because it will rust, right? Other types of water crystals or stones, like selenite, for example. You
Uh-huh.
don't want to put that in water. You don't want to put it in salt. That's a type of crystal that will literally dissolve, right?
Wow.
Water messes it up. So when you're doing like cleansing, I did a class on this before too. When you're cleansing your stones and crystals,
Uh-huh.
there's some that you can put underwater, some you can bury in salt, some you don't want to bury in salt, some you can
Wow.
just bury in the earth. Um, Others you want to put out in the sunlight or moonlight. It really depends on the composition of the stone. So when I talk about things that are safe or not safe for elixirs,
Hmm.
you don't want to put them directly into your water. There's things that they break off, or there's certain crystals that contain sulfur, they'll break down, and then that's what you'll be drinking, and that's not safe. So all the crystals and stones that I listed, and it's not a comprehensive list, it's just the ones that I know of, do not put them directly in your water, because it's just not safe.
Okay.
That said, though, I love these little vials, containers. This tiny mason jar, those little tiny jelly jars that you get? They're so cute. I keep these because I can use them for putting my stones in.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about what's going to break off, what's going to leach out. Um, I can just put them in here. And then sometimes you get, well, no, that one fits. Sometimes you get one oh, that one fits too. All right. Sometimes you get one that does not fit. Like
Yeah.
this is a tight fit, but it fits. So I have a bigger one. I have a big cup. So really it depends. But if you don't have a big cup and you don't have a big vial, or your vial's too small, or you don't have a vial, you can put the stone next to your cup, right? So the idea here is that you don't want to use plastic. Your cup should be glass, ceramic, or metal. Why? Because these things are natural. Plastic is not natural at all. So in magic, when we are storing things or using different things, plastic is a no-no. It doesn't hold a magical charge. It's like it just stops the energy flow. It doesn't absorb anything at all. So if you put something in plastic, it's not going to get your intent the way that you want it to. I'm not going to say 100% not, but it's best practice to use glass or ceramic, anything like that. Metal. My metal cup is way too big and you never see anything that's going on. So I'm not showing that. But those are the best things that you want to do, as far as that goes. So yeah, be very careful. That doesn't mean that you can't use things, but just don't put anything directly into your water as a practice. Now, if you're very seasoned and you really know your stones, and you decide that you can do that, well, that's on you, but I don't even do that. I always infuse the same way I infuse my oils. I put it in like a double boiler. I put the oils in one of these and put the herbs and stuff in there, and I let it do its thing. Um, but I never infuse anything like that. So same thing, you want to use glass. All right, um, so the other thing, there's four currents of energy that we'll be using, right? So as I told you, you're layering when we're doing the elixir. We call it like layering a spell. You layer it with color, you layer it with your intent. If we were using herbs for the elixir, and this is a simple one, so we would be layering with earth energy using the herbs or plants or different things like that. But there's four currents of energy that we use to put a charge into the elixir or anything that we do, any magical working. And we say in a charge, it's just your energy. It's your energy that you put into it. And then we call that your chi, your ki, your life force, your prana, ruach in another language. And it's just carried through your breath, your body, your emotions, your soul. It's your personal imprint, right? This is why I love meditation so much. Breath work is the simplest way to move energy through your body. And that's why it feels so good when you do it. So the other thing is elemental energy. Part of the elemental energy that we're using, the stones, and also water. Here is for me is spring water. I would use my normal water, but water here in Manchester is ridiculous. I'm sure Laura can attest to that. It's gross. I don't even drink it like here. So you guys, if you have if I still lived in another town where MDC does it, I still would use spring water because it's an elixir. You can totally use your own water. What we're going to do today is we're going to cleanse it and then we're going to charge it. So anyway, the four currents of energy: personal energy, elemental energy, earth, air, fire, water. So like I mentioned, we're using stones, we're using spring water. If we were using herbs, that would be the element of air instead of earth, but air, because depending on what it is, normally herbs, because they blow in the wind, they grow on trees, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Fire, if we were burning things, that's part of elemental energy. And of course, water, like I said. So the other thing we'll be using today is universal energy. If you guys are Reiki practitioners, you know what that is. It is the energy that comes from the cosmos, pranic energy, cosmic light. It is Reiki energy. It's the abundant energy that is always available to us. And then the last form of energy current is divine energy. And so that would be God, goddess, your ancestors, your spirit guides, angels, higher self. It's divine. That divine energy is different. That's what people usually use, say, if you make religion a part of your spiritual practices, right? I don't normally, but divine energy, if you're using, okay, that's a lie because I use my angels. The divine energy
I was
is,
going to call you out on that one.
so I meant religion then. I don't,
Yeah.
okay, that's touchy. But divine energy is when you use that extra energy, and that's a little bit different, right? I had a Buddhist monk that I worked with a lot with meditation, and he would always call in the Buddha. And when we were working with that, that energy is intense. It's something else, you know. So yeah, whatever you decide to work with, if you decide to work with divine energy, that will only add even more to the practice, right? Okay. So let's get into charging your stones. So did you guys all bring stones? If you did not, that's fine, because a stone is just a tool. You are actually the catalyst for everything else. So if you don't have a stone, that's fine. Does everyone have a stone that they would like to use? If this is a workshop, I'd be giving these things out. I had to decide what I was going to use. So whatever stone you're going to use, some people like to cleanse it ahead of time. That's not necessary. You can use a pendulum. You can use sound. You can use just your intent. Today, I wanted to use a pendulum. You could use dowsing rods if you had those to keep going back and forth like my guides they are doing now. If I tell them to keep going back and forth until my stone is cleansed, they are doing that, but that process takes a lot longer, as you can see. So we won't be using that, but so today I said use your pendulum or any weighted object. And because I am always thinking on the fly, I have weighted objects instead of a pendulum. just because people get so caught up on if it's a pendulum or anything else, anything, absolutely anything will work as a pendulum. As you see here, that it's already starting to do its thing, and I'm not even doing anything at all. So have your stone. The first thing we're going to do is cleanse it of any negative energy, or not necessarily negative, cleanse it of any energy that you don't want to have in there, right? If you haven't already done so. So you use your pendulum, and your pendulum basics is always, if it's something new, you ask it to show you no, which is counterclockwise, which this this set of stones that I'm using is already doing. And then you ask it to show you yes, which usually is clockwise. And you see how it just stopped moving and now it's going to show, yeah, now it's going clockwise. And if I ask them to show out a little bit and give you guys a bigger yes. Okay, then it's doing that. So what happens as we cleanse? It's going to go counterclockwise. Once it stops, your stone is cleansed. And then it will start to reverse direction and go clockwise. And once it does that, it is charging your stone with the intent. So all you need to do as far as your intent is concerned is to say, I want this stone, or think, you don't have to say it out loud, but remember it's your intention that fuels everything. You want the stone that you're using to be infused with the energies of healing for whatever specific purpose it is that you have. So if you want something in general, just say in general healing. If you have a specific condition you want to work on, then you want to say, I want it to be infused with the healing energies for whatever that is. So remember these elixirs are for whatever your intent for it is to be. It doesn't have to be healing. It could be an elixir to study better. It can be an elixir that's calming, to help you sleep better. It can be an elixir to draw abundance to you. It can be an elixir for whatever you set your mind to. If you say, can I make an elixir for that? My answer is going to be absolutely yes. Don't limit yourself to anything. If it comes to your mind where they say, if you can conceive it, you can achieve it, that's going to be what I'm going to tell you. Can I do this, Catrina? Yeah, do it. Make it so. So as this is still going clockwise, it is still charging my stone for the intent that I want it to be, which is general healing. And I am slowing down. Let me raise this so you guys can you guys see what I'm working with? I can't
It's coming
tell.
in and out of focus because you have blur on.
Yeah, I don't know how to take that off. I tried. Let me see. And you would think I'm computer literate. Oh, good Lord. I don't want to spend too much time, but this is actually, how do I take blur off,
If you
guys?
hover over your video
Yeah,
icon,
hover over your
There we
video.
go. Video, is it filter black? Oh, why is blur my background? I don't want a virtual background. All right, did that work?
that worked.
Okay.
Seems like it worked.
It still looks like it's blurred some though.
A little bit.
So this is actually a 7 chakra little thing that someone gave me.
Mhm.
And so like each of the stones are stones of the chakra. It's not even a pendulum, but this goes to what I'm telling you when I'm like any weighted object. There it goes
Yeah.
again. And this is because it does this as I talk. I feel like spirit either agrees or disagrees with the things that I say. So I
Like
can
computer
literally
literacy.
yeah, like I can literally make the pendulum swing any way that I want to without doing anything. Or normally when I'm saying something and I'm holding any weighted object and I'm asking spirit, which I do all the time, they will usually say yes, no, and maybe, which is side to side. or back and forth. So anyway, but this is what I mean when I say anything. I tell people you can use that. You can use a pendant. Literally, this is a tiger's eye pendant that my daughter gave me for my birthday. Have I used it? Yeah, same thing.
It's
Do I
saying
mean like,
no.
oh, actually on my side it's going clockwise.
Okay.
But yeah, this side is clockwise. If I say, can you stop and show me? No, which takes a minute unless I do it myself. There's that. That's no. So anyway, anything with a weight, pendulum, necklace. I picked this up in Jamaica. Same thing, and I'm going to use it for something else. This is hematite, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Same thing. See
Yep.
what I mean? Weighted. So anyway, use what you have. There's no need to ever get out and get something new. And if you wear it often, it's better because it's infused with your energy, which is like I like to use pendants and different things like that rather than a pendulum. So anyway, stones are charged. Have you guys charged your stones? Or are you just listening to me talk?
I'm playing with mine.
I
just
didn't come
finished
prepared.
mine.
Yeah, I
Oh,
didn't.
It's okay. So
you have
remember,
anything
like
within
whatever
reach?
you do, if you, and this is something you can do later. So there's the little workbook that I put in the chat. You guys can access that totally anytime. So the other thing as we go along, and I don't want to go like too fast, but I always realize by the time I'm looking at the time, we've gone through stuff and I can just sit here and answer questions and talk and talk and talk and talk. So anyway, spring water, doesn't matter what type you use. Spring water still needs to be cleansed because you don't know where it comes from. And of course, it's in a plastic bottle, which is my nemesis, as I say. So I'm putting spring water into my cup, right? How much water you use is totally up to you, right? And then you repeat the same process of letting spirit cleanse your, with your intent as well, but you cleanse whatever it is you have, right? So now I'm just using the necklace as the same thing. And the necklace, the pendant, since it's weighted, it's just going counterclockwise. So counterclockwise is always cleansing. It's cleansing of impurities and things that you don't want to have in an elixir, right? This is the same process that I use when I'm drinking water or call it blessing my food. And when I do that and other people just say, oh, I Reiki it, what you're doing is basically just saying, I don't want to, I want to remove the things in this that's not good for me energetically. And I'll say something like when it gets ready to go clockwise, when I'm charging it, I'll ask for spirit, for the universe to, my guides to help me and, put in all the good things that should go in there. Health, healing, for the highest level of vitamins and all that sort of stuff that I need to be in there. Sometimes I'll ask for, give me a little pop so I look young or whatever. Like, don't limit yourself to whatever it is, right? And I always feel good when people are like, you look so good today. And I'm like, they have no idea. Put some energy into your food or your drink or whatever. You'll feel better. Believe me. That's that whole experiment that water is living, right? Water takes on everything that we put into it. So that's what makes elixirs so powerful. And it's such a simple thing, right? If you have no stones and you have no crystals, you can totally still do this, right? Your elixir is the most simplest elixir, but that doesn't make it any less powerful. You know what I mean? So right now, I don't know if we're still infusing it with spirit or they're agreeing with me or a lot of both, but
Mine's going
you
crazy.
see, yeah, it does that, especially when it's agreeing.
Yeah.
But what happens though too is that, and you see how I'm holding my hand steady. If I were doing this, then my wrist would be going. But it's going to do this until, and I have to lift it up a little bit higher so it's not hitting the cup. It's going to do this until it comes to a stop. When it comes to a stop, that means that it has charged everything to the highest extent that it can. And that your elixir is ready to go. Well, not necessarily elixir, this is just the water. You're going to keep repeating this process. I haven't even put the stone in yet. But remember, you get your spring water, right? And you think it's the best thing ever. You're not thinking about all the hands that it has changed. You're not thinking about where it's been. You're not thinking about where it comes from. Is the spring water really spring water or is it tap water? Like, we don't know. There's so many studies that are done, right? So what you're doing is you're cleansing everything before you put it in, and you're getting, and then you're just going to integrate it. Then you're just going to integrate all of it. And yet that tap you heard was me having it too close to my cup. So now it's going back and forth. That means we are ready, right? So stone charged, spring water charged, or cleansed and clear. If you have your vial, that is the next thing. You decide that what you want to put it into. So here I have lapis lazuli. You probably can't tell. It's a deep, deep blue, almost midnight blue stone. And it has flecks of like gold in it and different things. I don't know how, can you guys see that? So lapis, and I love this stone, it's so gorgeous. That is a stone that for me is associated with divine energy, like the goddess Isis, who is also Mother Mary. It's a stone that she really likes a lot. The gold and everything in it it's universally like a goddess color, right? So it's great for divine energy if I wanted to do that. Sodalite is similar. It's a lighter stone. I don't know if you can tell the difference between these two. It looks like lapis, but it's just lighter, like it's a washed out version of lapis. Lapis lazuli. I also love jade. Jade is excellent for healing. This is light green. I don't know if you can tell, but whatever stone you choose is absolutely great. This is a green agate, which is good for the body. It's a darker green. But remember, I told you bodies, the green is good for muscles, right? Healing. So if you have anything like bruising, what's that? What you got, Laura?
What was the second stone? Lapis, and then what was the second?
Sodalite,
Sodalite.
jade.
Yep, I got that one. Sodalite.
So jade can be, depending on the grade of it, can be very expensive. And you know, it's a lot of people, especially in Asian cultures, like to use it. Not only good luck, so many blessings, feng shui, abundance, but definitely good for healing. It's an excellent healing stone. So whatever you have, put it in your vial. Near your vial, if you don't have anything big enough, if you could put it underneath your cup, near your cup, whatever it is, do that. If you don't have a vial, you can hang your stone from like a muslin bag, anything that is like light, but still do not put it into your water for the same reasons that I said, right? Just because you don't know if your stone is going to break off, if it's going to dissolve. And there's always the thought, because part of me was like, you know what? Why don't I put my water into a singing bowl and use sound and vibration, which you could use? Don't do that, because for the same reasons, you break off little microscopic pieces of your stone, and you don't want to put your stone in the water, right? When I said you can use sound, here's my koshi though. I guess you guys, I don't know if you guys have heard that. I love it. So you can also use a combination of that. So I'm going to put my stone into my cup. Put this down. my stone in the vial into the cup, right? And putting it in the vial means that you can, or whatever little mason jar means that you can submerge it and it won't touch your stone, right? And that's totally fine. If you have something to hang it from, that's fine too, right? Just don't put it in the water. And so I use this Koshi bell if I sit back, just like I would use the pendulum. My thoughts here is I'm going to ask Spirit to sing this. And I don't hear the sound.
Yeah, we won't hear it. You have to have
Oh,
that
sounds-
microphone.
Well, it's not making a sound for me either because it was stuck on something. There we go. So using sound, I hope that you could, but it's not for me. It's singing, but it's stuck. Give me just one sec, guys. I moved them today into my kitchen and the cats were going like crazy, but I wanted to hear everything. There we go. Can you hear that? No? Okay. All right. All right, let me get another one. That's not the one I wanted to use. There we go. All right. Are you guys able to hear this or no?
No.
That really sucks because what I'm doing is using sound. And I feel maybe Spirit wanted me to use this one. I don't know. But this, again, to show you that you can use anything that has a weight, right? All I'm doing now is using this Koshi bell to charge the elixir. And it's clockwise to add in everything. And remember, it's not going counterclockwise at all because we cleansed the water, we cleansed the stone, everything was already good to go. And all you do is charge it with your intent, right? And once it stops, that means that it is good. And you can further charge it when you're done by taking it out into the sun or using moonlight to absorb if that's what you want to do. Or you can just consume it immediately within 24 to 48 hours if you leave it out, or refrigerate it if you want to use it for a while. But what I tell people when we talk about a magical charge, think of your energy that you put into something being like a battery, right? It's good for a while, but eventually it loses its charge. It loses its mojo, right? It wears down. And that's like with all things. So don't take too long to use it. I would say if you refrigerate it, use it up within a week. You can always make more.
Catrina, can I
that's
do
it.
that in the cup or does it need to be glass? Because I don't have a vial.
Say that again, Laura.
Can I use it from the cup or should it be in glass? I don't have any vials to put it in.
Oh, when your elixir is done?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to. So unless you are thinking of keeping it, right, for a while, this cup that is already porcelain or glass or metal, cover
Yeah,
it in the fridge. Right, because remember, you're not going to use plastic. You use metal, you use porcelain, you use glass. It's already in a good enough vial. Unless you're deciding that you want to store it for later, you're worried about it getting knocked over. As is. It's totally good, right? You don't need to have anything extra. And see, that's the thing. Don't go out and buy all this extra stuff. Use what you have. Like when I teach my kitchen witchery or Wiccan in the kitchen, whatever you want to call it, you use what you have already. Don't go out and buy all these extra things unless you have a project that you're thinking about, right? If you were using herbs in this, if you were making a salve, something that you wanted to, I've done all these things, but now I've done it on the stove over everything else and I'm charging it. I've cleansed my herbs, same way. It's the same concept, right? I'm using olive oil, which is for the body. Olive oil's highest property, energetic property, its strongest one is for healing and for peace, right? People use it for all kinds of stuff. When people are like, yeah, I made this abundance oil and I used olive oil. And I'm like, why'd you use olive oil? That's for healing. It can be used for other stuff, but it's weaker in that. It's like using a guy who works on air conditioners and saying, hey, work on my car. He could probably do a good job if he knows a little bit something, but you want more of like a specialist, right? So it's the same thing. Everything that you use what you have. You don't have to go out and get something great. That's going to be the next thing. We can do a little, I don't know, kitchen stuff. But yeah, this is good enough for what you have, right? Remember, water is alive. It carries everything that you put into it. And it's part of you. So that's why even more that we make a connection, right? We have water in us. I know, Nikki, you did the class on that. We have actually every element inside of us. People don't think about that. That's the whole premise of that pentacle there. That is us, macrocosmically and microcosmically. So drink your elixir up. Take your time.
Cheers.
Right? Exactly. You can do this with a tea. It doesn't have to just be straight spring water. I use, I love Harney and Sons teas because they're loose teas, any type of loose tea that you get. Think about the different things. There's a strawberry tea I have in there. Strawberry is great for like love and different things. And it's pinkish in it. You know what I mean? I can make a self-love elixir using that tea, cleanse it, do the same things that we did. And there's a whole herbal property to that, but you've made something different energetically. It's not just a tea. Somebody might see you drinking just a tea and you can have it cold or you can have it hot. You can do whatever it is, but it's a magical working now and nobody knows it but you.
So, my niece, who's also in the ministry, Ariana, her and her daughter do that, and they made me this little bottle. It's got little clear crystals in the bottom of it, and for some reason the water is red, and they put a little sticker on it that says, "This is a love potion." It's in a little glass, tiny bottle.
Where are you going with that, Laura?
No, I want love for everybody.
Well, first of all, what kind of love potion is it?
I don't know. It just says love.
Yeah, because there's self-love and then there's love. And I'm like, you go ahead and drink that and go out and see what happens. Hey,
Yeah.
you might have a new boyfriend next week. But and that's why I'm like, that totally, yes. We talk a lot of times about, that recipe that your grandmother made that you have the exact measurements for, but it somehow just doesn't taste the same. And the difference is the energy that she put into it. Do you know what I mean? You can do something completely the same, but the energy and the intent that you put into it is what makes it different, right? It's something that you would taste all the time. What is that?
Bag with my stone in it. Do I take it out of the bag and put it in the water, or just the whole thing?
Don't put it in the water. So when you have something like that, that's fine. You're still not putting it in the water because the water goes through this. It's a mesh bag, right? And it still gets into you, and it's not safe for the same reasons that we said. So what you're going to do is hang this over, find something to attach it to and hang it over, or you just hold it there yourself. As you see, Spirit's already trying to spin this bag for me, like anything I have, it's like, yeah. But it's the same thing. Do not submerge it into your water The only way you want to submerge it is if you have it in a glass container, a metal container, a ceramic container. You don't even need to see it. But the thing is that the energy can pass through it easily. Energy can pass through this easily, but you're putting it in your water and you don't want to do that because you're always going to practice safety just because even with these, there's things that leach out of it and you don't want that to happen. Sometimes you think you have the best stone in the world and it's something man-made and it's dyed and it's all this sort of stuff. Guess what's going into your water, especially if you sit it there for a good while. You don't want to do that. Okay.
Yeah, that's on page 7 of the workbook. And
Okay.
Caitlin, you came in late, so I put the link back into the chat. So there's a workbook in chat if you can grab that from your phone.
Yeah. Because I'm like, even with this top stone here, this is quartz. But this one that everything is hanging from is
Selenite?
selenite.
Yeah.
Water would totally destroy this. It might not look so like that at first, but I did something when I was showing people, it's a while ago when I did a Instagram video of people how to properly cleanse their stones. There was a stone in there and I was like, this is what happens. It totally started to melt away the top layer of one of the stones I was using. Selenite is a no-no. Definitely a no-no. I mean, some stuff you might get lucky if it's like quick enough and you wipe it off enough, but you don't want to, and it definitely will be melting into your water. So just do not, as a rule, keep yourself safe. Don't submerge it like that at all.
Well, if you remember Dr. Emoto that had the words on the water that made the water crystalline structures change, just putting it outside the bottle of water or whatever.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely. Put it on the side, and that's why above, to the side, below, perfect. That's great. It doesn't have to be inside. I know it adds to the feeling of authenticity when you could put it in there. I love to submerge things in there and I keep them in there for a while. I go back to it. Like this is like the quickest way, right? But truly when I'm making an elixir, I'm taking a lot longer than what we did here. We only have like an hour, less than that if we're answering questions. But this is your basic elixir. If we had more time, I'd love to be more involved and give you guys more things, but these are your basics, but never, never, never put it into your water. Okay. Unless you, like I said, you've done your work, you know absolutely where your stone comes from and that it's not going to leach anything harmful out. But it's really hard to know that, especially if you didn't get it yourself. You're basing it on the reputability of whoever you got the stone from, right? So just be very careful when it comes to that.
Trina, something I was curious about. Can
Yes.
you infuse the same stone repeatedly? And can you change what you're infusing it, what your intention is? Can
Absolutely.
you make it healing one time and, I don't know, divine cosmo attachment the next time? Can you do that sort of thing? And how long does a
Absolutely.
stone stay charged?
So the charge really depends, right? It's not going to wear down, say, like in a week. Like when I do stuff, I have stones and crystals in all of my windows, for example. I charge them once a month myself, but they're in the windows. Sun, moon, all that sort of stuff. Remember, the energies do that. They do cleansing, they do charging, depending on what it is. So a charge can last anywhere from 6 months to a year. What did you put into it? How much energy did you put into it? Right? That really depends on you. And are you like a Reiki practitioner or anything like that, Kevin? Like, do you do any type of
No.
healing? All right. Do you feel energies?
Yes. And
Yeah.
I sense energies. I can read a room before I walk in it.
I knew you could. As I was like, yeah, I knew you could. So I could tell. So here's the thing. You can sense it. So people who are used to working with energy, right? The same way, if you didn't even use a pendulum, you can charge something with your own energy, your personal energy, your chi, right? I don't suggest doing that yourself, just doing that all the time because your energy is limited, right? We only make so much of it. We only make so much of it at a time. That's why we get tired, right? When you use your personal energy, whether it's working out or walking or doing whatever, it's limited. It replenishes, and that takes time. And that's why we use the universal energy, and that's why we use divine energy, because it gives more of a charge, right? How much it wears down, how quickly it wears down, well, how much energy did you put into it? Because usually if I make a product and I say, okay, use this up within 6 months or use this up within a year, after that time, it's still going to work, but the effect is not going to be as great. It's like charging your phone. Did you charge it for 15 minutes or did you charge it for an hour till it was all the way set? And how do you know it's all the way set? The energy flow will lessen. And that's why I asked you if like you were a Reiki practitioner, if you did any type of healing. How long do you do healing? Until it stops, until you feel that nothing is flowing anymore, right? When you use your pendulum, I've done like healing work where I've worked on someone, even using a pendulum or using myself, where I'm putting energy in there for like half hour straight. And it's just like, holy crap, where is this person depleted? Or there's so much that needed to be cleansed because you go here, you go there. The person I was working with works at like a drug rehab place. That place is full of all kinds of attachments and different things. And I tell him, cleanse your, because you work here and you're so involved, you have to cleanse yourself in your place often, because sometimes you can bring things back. There's magics where people are like, you don't want anybody to use your footsteps. They can put something all the way up into your door and then you end up tracking it in. That's why there's magical floor washes, things that cleanse and different things like that, right? So again, I digress because we get back to that. I'm always trying to give examples. It can last up to a year, right? But the infusion, depending on how you use it, you want to drink it right away, right? That's why I said the infusion, if you made something with with alcohol, which stabilizes stuff, the herbs and the different things that you put in there, it can last for years. But there's different things that you would know to know if it's going rancid or something like that by smell, so you would have to be a little bit more advanced to do something with alcohol, right? And only make a small amount of it. But it can last for a good time. It could last for a good long time. The elixir we made today, if you do it, just put the energy into it until spirit says, okay, it's fully charged. If you want to know how long, you can even ask, will it last for a week? Will it last for 2 weeks? Will it be good for whatever? Use your pendulum. Use whatever it is and ask that question, because I think that really is unique to you and how much energy you put into it. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. You're not screwing up the universe by swapping your your stone early if you change
No.
intentions.
Oh, so that was your other question, right? If I
Well,
use
no, I
this
have
stone-
another question. Can you infuse more than, like, can you, here we're infusing an elixir. Can you infuse your food and can you infuse other natural things? Does that
infuse
make
your
sense?
food? What do you mean, like bless your food, like cleanse your
Well,
food? Like, what does that mean?
if I spun the pendulum over my meal.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, like I said, before I drink things, I like to do that. Sometimes, what do? We Reiki our food. We'll say, you know what? Let me just put all the blessings of all the good stuff, whatever it is. The energy flows until it's as abundant as it can be. You can use your pendulum to say, you know what? May this food be filled with as much, I don't know, vitamin, whatever, or the most healing and abundant energy ever, you know, whatever way that you want to word it. You can totally do that with every meal, every drink. You can do that. Because what do you think people are doing when they pray before they eat or drink or whatever? It's the same concept, which is really funny. It's the same concept. You're just doing something different. Now, if you're doing this at home, okay, that's fine. You don't want to be out at a restaurant and be like, because people will be like, what are you doing? Right? I mean, if you don't care, you don't care. But what do people do? Sometimes they pray. Sometimes I'm Reikiing my food. Sometimes I say something, and it doesn't have to be in a way that people totally see that. If you have something you like, I totally want to do this, you can be under the table and doing it. It doesn't have to be right over for the energy to be going, because you know, what did they say? That's true. Your energy flows the way that your intent wants it to do, the way you direct it, right?
Power
You
of
can direct
intention.
energy from anywhere.
Yeah.
So as far as your stones, and you say, can I use it for this? Can I use it for that? It's not a one-time thing. So like with stones, herbs, crystals, everything that comes out of the earth always retains the energy of that. It doesn't go away. You're not going to be like, well, I used this once, so I can never use it again. If you want to use it for a different purpose, then you cleanse it and imbuing energy for the new purpose that you want it for, right? If it's for the same thing and you're using the same stone over and over again for the exact same thing, the exact same purpose, you don't need to do that. But if you want to use it for something different, then imbue it with the new energy now. Right? But you can use it over and over and over, the same stone. If you had nothing but a quartz crystal, you can use that for everything. You can use it for love, health, healing, protection, all of that, because the quartz amplifies your intent. If you had the quartz next to any other type of crystal or stone, it would amplify the intent of that crystal and stone and everything else you put into it. It's like your quartz crystals are like megaphones. I have little tiny Herkimer diamonds, same thing. I put them at the bottom of oils and different things that I'm using for specific purposes. And it's the same thing. It's like
I think that's
it's like an Energizer bunny for it.
I think these are little tiny Herkimer, because they're little tiny clear stones in the bottom of it.
So we
That's
have
some
those.
powerful elixir, Laura. I kind of
It
think I
is.
want to try it.
That's why I said she's gonna have a new boyfriend by the
I
end of
know.
next week. Although, if it's an elixir, it's supposed to be ingested. And if they put little stones in there, be really careful about. Do you know what I mean? And that's another thing. People say elixirs all the time. I would hesitate to have an elixir that has any type of stone that's in it, because elixirs are meant to be,
Just
right? To be imbued. Not knowing, is it a Herkimer diamond? Is it not a Herkimer diamond? How long that has been in there? Because I have little crystals that look like quartz. The Herkimer diamond looks like quartz, except I know it's a Herkimer. I know it is, and they're really, really tiny. And I'm not going to tell anyone to drink that, right? I might give that to them with the elixir and said, this is what went into it. And, you know, maybe put it on the side before you drink it or whatever with this intent, so on and so forth. I would be wary of drinking that. Now, if that's something with an oil, you can use it.
I put it in my cup in the water.
Now, you could do that. You could totally do that. Put that in the cup in the water. What's the top look like?
It's a little teeny tiny cork.
It's a cork. So I would put that inside of something else that is glass or ceramic or whatever, or make sure that you don't submerge it. Just put it in something small and don't submerge it. But that's not something that you want to drink. So there's a difference between an elixir and an infusion, because you can infuse a lot of things, and all infusions are not meant to be drank. Some are meant to be put on the skin.
And I just noticed there's
and I
little
make those.
tiny hearts.
Yeah.
Is it hearts?
So is that an oil or is that a water?
I don't know. It looks like water.
Yeah, don't drink that. But you
Oh,
can
no.
totally put that inside of something and put that inside of the water like this. Or put it to the side like we talked before. Put your spring water in there, put that to the side and do the same thing. It does look amazing. So I would say you can have a new boyfriend by the end of next week. I'm coming to your house, Laura. Like, where's that infusion?
That'll change your digestive system.
Tell her I brought my cup. Where's your elixir? Put it right here. We're going out, Laura.
I want you to see it before I do anything with it. I want you to check it out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm like, you never know. We can go on a double date. We're going out. So does anybody have any, oh, we're out of time, huh? See, I told you I can do this all day.
Why don't you let us know what you have coming up? You're going to come once a month and do this sort of thing. So what's next on your agenda?
My gosh, there's so many things I would love to do with you guys. So I just have to think about it.
Yeah, what I was sharing with Mary Chris and that other group that we're in, the Power of Intention,
Yeah.
were your pentacles when you did the last talk, when you showed that diagram of the pentacles.
Oh, because it's us, right? Does it
Yeah.
make sense to think about it that way? But it is, people think it's all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, that pentacle is absolutely a diagram of the human body, earth, air,
Yeah.
fire, water, spirit. It's us. We're the
Yeah.
pentacle. So
Now,
yeah.
Catrina, just one thing. I'm setting up a YouTube podcast highlighting your lessons. So if that shapes whatever you want to do, say in the future you want to refer some of your students, clients to the podcast, you could do that. So if that affects the way you think of presenting topics or whatever.
That is great to know. I wish I was that organized, Kevin. Some days I'll be like, oh my God, this is a great idea. And that's what it'll be.
Yeah.
And I'm building a podcast of the stuff you teach.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I like that.
Yeah, it takes a village.
It's very cool. Very cool. Well, I thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Catrina.
You guys made my day. I love that. I love teaching.
Yep.
Thank you, Catrina.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate
Love
you. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Thanks, Mary Chris, for
Bye-bye.
coming.
Yeah,
soon.
thanks.
Ciao.
Okay, bye-bye.